right, so out here about to eat for my birthday. Pretty exciting. Had a really good time so far at this spa place. I don't even know what you call it. It's like a day spa, I guess. I don't even know. But today we're going to talk a little bit about the Wizards Unite beta being launched in Australia. So I'm going to eat, and then we'll talk a little bit about that. All right, Australia beta. So after New Zealand, about a week later, the Australia beta opened up for Wizards Unite, and since then we really haven't heard any word about any other locations opening up for a beta, which is pretty interesting. So we basically had the beta for New Zealand for running for a couple weeks, and now the Australia beta for a couple weeks. It doesn't seem like we're getting any other betas. That looks like it's about it. So my thought is, I don't know exactly what is going on with Wizards Unite in terms of what the plan to release is. It seems like they've had a pretty good amount of people to be able to test it. They started off small with New Zealand, and Australia is a very large area. There's a lot of people in Australia, so they've had a lot of people to be able to test the game and check for bugs and things like that, which I think they are finding a lot. I know after talking to some people who have played the beta, who are in Australia, who are in New Zealand, they have been able to submit some of the bugs. So hopefully Niantic is wrapping those things up so we can actually get a full release of the game soon. I do think that the beta isn't really a beta, where Niantic is calling it a beta for Wizards Unite. It really isn't like that. It seems to be more of a soft launch, which I'll get into a little bit later. I did, if you guys haven't seen my hour-and-a-half live stream for Wizards Unite, then you haven't probably heard me talk about where I think that it's really a soft launch versus a beta test. I mean, they're very similar, but there are a few differences that are pretty distinctive that make it quite a bit different. So we'll get into that a little bit later as well. But that's basically where we're at with the beta. We do have it now in Australia and New Zealand. So Australia was very lucky, and I just hope that we get it here in the States soon, and then I'm sure the rest of the world will get it. I do think that we're going to get it in England and Australia, or we're going to get it in England, and we're also going to get it in the United States next. But I don't think it's going to be a beta. I think it's going to be the full release. When they release it here in the United States, it'll be a full release of Wizards Unite. So when we do get it, everyone in the States, I think it'll be the full release of the game, and you'll be able to go out and really just start playing just like Pokemon Go. It won't be something where the game is still in beta testing. There is likely going to be more avatar creation, stuff like that. So those things in the game will be a little bit more polished when you get your hands on it. So that's what to look forward to. But it is, like I said, interesting that they haven't released it in a new beta in another country, which I think means a couple things. Okay, so the main thing that I think is very interesting that we haven't seen a new country be released since Australia for the beta test, or as I like to call it, the soft launch, is that we are going to see Niantic pull down the beta before they release it worldwide. I think they're going to be testing it out, and they're going to be taking it back, they're going to be doing their changes, and then it will be released worldwide. That being said, if you do play in New Zealand or you do play in Australia, you will be able to keep the same level. I do believe that they'll have your email and your accounts that your account is associated to. They'll save that data, and then they will allow you to log back in once the actual game or the full release of the game is released, and you'll be able to jump back in. Now, this is just conjecture. It's more of a hope. I hope that they actually take the game down for a couple weeks, and then they bring it back out as a full release to the whole world, or at least the major areas in the world, including back to New Zealand, including back to Australia, but also in the European states and Americas. So that's my anticipation for the game. And like I said, it's mostly based on the fact that they haven't released another country for the beta test in the last couple weeks. So that's what it's looking like. At least to me, that's what it's indicating. And again, I also hope that they do take it down very soon, hopefully. They've had a handful of weeks to beta test it. Hope they wrap that up, and then maybe hopefully in a couple weeks we'll actually get the full release of the game. So that is my opinion, and I think that it is likely and that it is possible that, or they'll really just release it worldwide and roll it out country by country, which I think a slow launch is not a smart move by Niantic. So personally, I think that's how they should do it. So we will see. Alright, so like I was saying, if you haven't seen my hour-and-a-half live stream about some of the beta information, I figured I would talk to you a little bit about it now to give you a recap on a soft launch versus a beta. Now, when we thought we were going to get a beta for Wizards Unite, we thought it was going to be a closed beta, very similar to what Pokemon Go had. But that just simply wasn't the case. We have a beta in Wizards Unite that is really what we would call an open beta or a soft launch. Because we call it a soft launch because it's really, the game is out there, it's being played, people can share it, and you can see video of it and all of that. So a closed beta, like with Pokemon Go, you weren't able to do any of that. People had to sign documents to say that they weren't going to share any information, any footage from the game, share any images, anything like that. But that's not what Niantic did for Wizards Unite. Where they are calling it a beta, it just simply doesn't seem like that. In fact, people who run Wizards Unite have actually said the words a soft launch versus a beta. Now, all of their emails, all of their website information say beta, but the main difference is the fact that the soft launch, people are going to either be able to, if they do take the game down, they're going to be able to retain their level, any purchases they made in the game, things like that. So they're really trying to learn about the player and learn about the bugs and things like that, but also spending habits. They're encouraging people to know that they're not going to lose things that they buy or lose levels. So people are going to be more willing to spend money that they would typically do if they were playing the game. So that's why it's really a soft launch versus a closed beta. So hopefully that helps explain a little bit about what Niantic is doing, what WB Games is doing, Portkey Games is doing with this beta, even though it's really, like I said, more of a soft launch than anything else. And that being said, typically a soft launch, it gets rolled out like a week. For instance, it's very typical in a restaurant or a business where they open up the business and they open up a software or whatever the product is to the public for an initial test. They basically try things out, they see how things go, and then they take the game down, they make those changes, or they still close the restaurant, it's not open yet, and then they have some updates they take notes on how the soft launch went, and then they make that into what they actually do when there's the official grand opening or the official launch of the game or of the business or whatever is doing that soft launch. So that's really what we're seeing in Wizards Unite, and I really do expect to see them pull the game down for a period of time and then relaunch it globally, or at least the majority of the world. I know we have a lot of international people who watch my channel, so shout out to all of you guys, but definitely we are going to see it. We're going to see it released on a very large scale, and then there are a few. I would assume that there are going to be a few countries that get rolled out shortly after that, like Pokemon Go did. So I would look at the people who are interested in Wizards Unite, you may play Pokemon Go, so whatever the time frame was for Pokemon Go to get rolled out to your country is probably what you can expect to see for Wizards Unite as well, if not faster. I would actually suspect that they do it a little bit faster in terms of a rollout compared to Pokemon Go after they finish the soft launch and they do make the game fully accessible. It's full version release to the world. So, yep, there we go. That's the information on the beta or soft launch that Wizards Unite has done for Australia and New Zealand, and we'll see where it goes from there.